What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite's new Fortnite update. As always, we're going to be going over what they do well, what they could do differently, and just kind of the state of the game, which did change a decent amount with the Fortnite update, but I think a lot of it also stayed the same despite those changes. Let me know what you guys thought of the Fortnite update down in the comments below, and if you do enjoy this video, find it interesting, helpful, informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like some more, and let's get into it. Obviously, we're going to be going Freaky Fields, which is the new POI and the most significant POI change for this Fortnite update. Personally, I am not a big fan of this POI. I feel like it's kind of like, sort of messy would be the right word, but it plays out very messy. Just with all the corn and different hiding spots for people to be in, and I feel like there also isn't very much loot. And since it is the new POI, you'll see that the entire lobby is going here. So this is probably going to be just third-party central gameplay. Also, unfortunately, it doesn't have any of the Marvel chests, I'm pretty sure. And that really holds this POI back, in my opinion, because what you get is like one of the, most chaotic, hottest POIs, which obviously is going to be difficult to survive. And then not having Marvel chests definitely decreases your chances of getting a jetpack pretty significantly. And then that makes it harder to, play the game afterwards. We'll see if the person who ends up surviving Freaky Fields here even ends up being able to play the game, or if they just get third-partied by somebody else coming from a different POI who has more of, the meta items for the season. Be on board Jack Skellington here. He is in a rough spot, though, because he has no ammo in his gun, and that's the only gun he has. If you run into that TV, you do trigger the Saw boss, and I believe when eliminated, he drops the purple gatekeeper. At least that's what he dropped when I fought him. And while that would be a great item to have, this Jack Skellington doesn't have enough ammo to get that elimination, and even if he does start to fight the boss, he probably just gets collapsed on in third party. So he's in a rough spot here, and this is kind of like what I was talking about at the start of the video with the game being just very chaotic at this POI. Somebody is fighting the Saw boss, though, under him. I think you want to go for that third party if you can. Especially with, the state of this Jack's loot. I would want to just be down there and then hopefully shoot that person with 1 or 2 shotgun shots and get that kill. He chooses to let them eliminate the boss and kind of reset the game on their own. They were able to reload their guns and everything, and I think that was definitely a mistake. He is full shield, which is great, but this player is under him, and he's just allowed them to, eliminate the boss and then become comfortable again. And I definitely think that was a mistake. They're mantling onto the roof now, I think. For some reason, he can't. They got shot in the back. This is great for him. Should be the kill. Okay, nice. Player coming up the stairs as well. And GG's. He just gets third-partied by somebody else, and then that's the end of his game. This was not the person that shot that other Michael Myers in the back, though, because they shot him in the back with a striker burst. And this person doesn't have a striker burst, so I think there's still definitely somebody behind the building. And that's something that's really minor, but can go a long way for your awareness. Knowing that there's likely somebody else here because the burst wasn't on the player you killed. Seems small, but can be a big deal. This person maybe runs up for the crown. I think that's what this Michael Myers is trying to bait. Nice initiation. He could just drop down through the bunker and go. Yeah, he should have dropped down to that part of the bunker right away and not allowed this person to get away. They still get the kill, but just one small little detail. And that fight is probably less messy. Person on them with a chainsaw. This is an awkward fight, and this is where a jetpack would be great. I feel like if you have a jetpack, you just kind of completely counter the chainsaw item, because you can just jetpack out of range of the player. That is not what this Michael Myers is going to be doing. I don't know if the chainsaw person is fighting somebody else, or they're just breaking structures looking for him. If I was this Michael, I would want to get out of this building. I would not want to be in tight corners fighting the chainsaw. Maybe get up on the roof or something like that. But I feel like I'm watching a horror movie right now. The way he's playing this fight is giving me anxiety. It might work out, though. The person's trying to chop the entire building down so he can just drop down and get a shot on them. Gets 2 shots, and then he gets 2 shots before taking damage, so that's enough for him to be able to win the fight there. So that was good. It ended up working out for him. There's also a big pot on the over here. Is that a purple pump? Maybe the Jigsaw boss just drops a purple shotgun. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I would be sad. I know I've gotten a purple gatekeeper from it, though. He's going to go for the pump. Very risky. We'll see if it works out. I much prefer a pump meta in Fortnite, but just unfortunately, in my opinion, Chapter 5 has never really had one. With the spammy shotguns we've had have been so good. There's EMPs on the ground right there. I would highly suggest carrying them in this POI. I don't know what he would drop for it, but this is a POI where there's always people hiding in this corn or just like other weird areas. And having the EMPs to throw down on the people in the corn makes that fight so much easier, I think. Speaking of people just sitting in the corn, I guess this player is one of them. I don't know how long we're going to like stay on board with him here. He does have 5 kills, which is great. Okay. Also, I don't know if this POI gets cars, which again makes it rough to rotate out of. You have like low chance of getting a jetpack, relying only on like floor loot and chests, no marvel chests, and then I don't know if cars spawn here. I think the nearest one might be at the parking lot across the street, so that's kind of rough. He can use the chainsaw's mobility, but this is like a rough mobility item to use, I think, because your opponent really has a say in the matter. Something like shockwaves, the jetpack, even the witch's broom at times, much easier to reset fights with. Those are good. I mean, there's not really much to talk about there. That person just died, but yeah, he hit a shot. That was good. But someone just like traveling around on the chainsaw, like this version of it, I think is very susceptible to just getting like fried by an AR. I think he might go for the radio tower here. Yeah, he's gonna get this. Drop the bunkers for the card. It's fine, I guess. Doesn't really matter. I just appreciate that he did something. I've seen so many people, especially in these videos, like they go to the radio tower, they kill the boss quickly, and then they spend like such a prolonged period of time looking at the ground at the cards, deciding what they're going to drop for it. And it's just like any option you did, you would have already been finished and like back to your gun by now. Like it's fine, just do it. He's going to chill in this bush and wait for the bunker to spawn, which definitely isn't the worst play considering he doesn't have a jetpack yet. And there is a marble chest down there that he can hopefully get a jetpack from. I didn't mean to switch. I hate when I do that. Somebody else at Freaky Fields. But what I was going to say is there's also another bunker nearby at Mount Olympus. So if he doesn't get one out of this bunker that he's close to, he could go to that bunker and hopefully get one that way. But we are getting like decently late into the game where a lot of people that he fights are probably going to already have one by now. And that is kind of the problem I outlined with Freaky Fields at the start of this video. I feel like you're fighting at a chaotic POI where you're unlikely to get probably the most important item in the game right now. And then other people coming to third party you after you clear the POI are probably going to have that item and have a decent advantage. And like maybe if they bring it to you and you kill them, you get it. And then like that's your problem solved. But a lot of times that's going to be a hard fight to win. Somebody coming over at him now. Does have a sight on this AR. That's nice. I like not shooting here, though. Or never mind, he shoots. But what I was going to say is I like not shooting here because a lot of people, when they're, like, waiting in bushes or waiting on, like, mountains or anything like that, they'll shoot way too early in a situation where they're not going to get the kill anyways. Like, you're not going to, like, 250 to 0 somebody from 200 meters away with all the mobility we have in the game right now. So, like, waiting for them to get closer and then shooting when it's a range where you can actually get the kill and the opponent has less, like, of a chance to get away from the fight, I think is quite good. Can Iron Man spawn next to him? That's unfortunate. If that spawn was War Machine, that would have been like a potential avenue for him to get a jetpack. You could also argue that maybe he shoots baiting that player into pushing him. But yeah, I personally would rather just wait until the enemy is in range that I can actually kill them rather than fighting from like a ridiculously far range away. Kind of wasting your time, wasting your ammo, and making yourself an easy potential third-party target. Could be beams here. I would want to shoot at this person before they get into the bunker, personally. Now they're kind of closer to their car, so they can reset the fight. The thing is, he doesn't have any mobility to, like, push them after he gets shot. So maybe just sneaking up and trying to fight them in the bunker when they have less of, like, a chance to reset the fight is better. He's crouch walking up the entire time, so he's not going to make visual audio. He will make, like, footstep audio. You can hear people crouch walking. but it's not very loud. Oh, this person's just camping in the bunker as well. That's unfortunate. Also, somebody picked up the Iron Man thing. So there's another player in this area. This Iron Man thing just landed and it's already grayed out. So there is somebody over there. Now he has Witch's Broom as mobility, which is definitely better than none at all. He's going to stick with the pump. Does he take the jetpack? Yes. Okay. That's nice. I wonder if he'll drop the pump for the gatekeeper or if he just uses the pump. Okay. Well, that answers the question. Thank you, Fortnite. I was going to say the pump it can be fun and satisfying, but like with how the game plays out right now, I don't think it is the best shotgun in zero build for sure. Especially if he's going to be using the striker burst with it. Can work if you go pump to burst and, you know, hit a solid pump shot into like hitting your burst bullets with hipfire. Like the damage potential there is crazy, but it's very kind of all or nothing, I think. Surprised he stuck with the chainsaw. I really don't have the highest opinion of this item. I would rather use the Witch's Broom. I think my preferred loadout is still just shotgun AR, shockwaves, heals, jetpack. But if I don't have shockwaves and the Witch's Broom, I'm happy to take that as well. Or maybe shield bubbles if I don't have either. But I really do not think very highly of the chainsaw as a mobility item. He's just going to be camping in this bunker. I'm somewhat motivated to swap off of them and see who we end up spectating. I don't like swapping a lot for videos like this, but it's like, what is going on there, you know? So this is going to be somebody in a car. I believe this is a medallion player. I've seen them in the kill feed several times. I think they have Iron Man gloves and the auto turret. They have the season 4 meta. Lovely. It really is Fortnitemares. It's been Fortnitemares the whole time. You see this other person is using cars though, and this makes it harder for this Jules to really do anything to them. If they just try to fight them out in the open, then the Jules just fries them. And while the Unibeam can hit through cars, you see that it's not the freest thing ever. Like, I don't think they hit them through the car there. The car is now destroyed. They have no AR. They just have this and the shotgun. This should be a kill though, I think. If they hit their shots, I don't know what's going on. But this other person hasn't really defended themselves at all. And if they never defend themselves, they're just eventually going to lose to this, unfortunately. Yeah. I like, and you could say, like, what are they supposed to do there? I somewhat agree. And that's why I would rather have shockwaves than the chainsaw. Because if they had shockwaves instead of the chainsaw, then maybe they could have, like, shockwaved to that house and then looked back on the Jules. But instead, they're, like, using chainsaw mobility while they started getting shot by the Iron Man gloves. And so it's just, like, nothing that can really be done. 7 opponents remain. I do think that fight was like not unwinnable though. Like you saw like the Jules wasn't just hitting every shot. Like I think if the Festival Ace had kind of played a little bit better, they like definitely could have gotten the kill there. But I feel like you really need something like shockwaves to like break yourself out of range of the Iron Man user. And then also like I've already said many times, cars are a good potential counter. Like we saw at the start of the fight how the Jules wasn't really able to get anything going because the Festival Ace was using cars. But once their car was destroyed and they didn't kind of play for the fight, it was just over. I think maybe like once the car got destroyed, the Festival Ace maybe should have like played behind that rock and then tried to beam this Jules as they're pushing them rather than just like full running when they're not able to get away. I'm not sure why this person is capturing the train. I don't know what they need from it. I think maybe they're just capturing it to capture it. I do not know. Maybe they wanted more shocks. That's like the only thing I can really imagine. Imagine they go down in that bunker and fight Michael Myers. That'd be a very winnable fight for the Michael Myers. So I feel like in tight spaces is where this setup also kind of like falls short. They do have a shotgun, but I would rather take a shotgun fight versus somebody with a shotgun and an auto turret than just like them being in the air kind of flying around shooting down with the Iron Man gloves. Almost slipped the car. And I think this person has, yeah, they have the good medallions. They have Siphon and Scan. And so this is kind of the final boss of the lobby at this point. They have both medallions and kind of the meta setup for the game right now. it's really going to involve them getting really unlucky or somebody like really outplaying them for them to like lose this game probably. Kind of surprised they're not going to island. Because it seems like they want to look for people, but they're like not going to where they can find people. An island is in zone. It has been captured as well, so you know for like certainly that someone is there. Is that Michael Myers? I'm rooting for him to just get on her with like gold gatekeeper and just like hit hard shots and win the fight. Don't really know what's gonna happen here because she's just gonna follow them, but like, okay, they got out of the car. They're like in the staircase area, I think. This is a fight. Okay, I was gonna say this is where like the gloves wouldn't be as big of a deal. They're just like fighting in that house. I don't think. Okay, yeah, I was about to say I think that Michael Myers was the one who got out of that car. So like her killing that other person was almost a mistake. Unfortunately, the Michael Myers doesn't get the greatest initiation off of it, but like if they were able to, that could have been the end of the game for this Jules. Like this is somewhat going okay for the Michael Myers, but they're just like not in tight enough quarters where the Jules can constantly reset. And this is where the auto turret just kind of like does its work. Nothing is happening in this fight, but the auto turret is just slowly chipping down, and then the Jules wins. But that was like, there was a point in time where I felt like that fight was going better for the Michael Myers than the Jules, but it just slipped out of grasp, and that's kind of the unfortunate aspect of this setup. I think it's that like if you don't play perfect versus it, it's very easy for the fight to kind of just slip through your fingers. Because this Jules, it's not a terrible player. Like their movement seems okay. Like they somewhat know what they're doing. Obviously, like they could be a very good player for all I know, but I'm just saying from what we've seen, they're clearly not bad, right? So if you have somebody decent using this stuff, then you have to just be perfect, I feel like, versus them. And I think what kind of caused that fight to go south for the Michael Myers, not only was like them getting away, but like the start of the fight was just neutral HP for both players, right? And we saw the Michael Myers hit her for 100. If that fight had kind of started with the Jules taking a bit of AR damage or something like that, then like maybe Michael wins that. But just like dry 100 damage wasn't enough to like guarantee the win versus Jules. And the initial shots didn't do very much damage. He hit her for like 50 overshield, and then she went under that bridge and came back up, and then he hit her for like 100. Maybe 150. I don't know if it was all her shield gun or what. But if the start of the fight had been a little bit better, or if they kind of just realized like this probably isn't gonna go my way and reset, then maybe Michael wins that. But like I said, just any mistake versus this item, it's like automatically goes punished because the auto turret is just gonna do its job, and the Iron Man gloves mostly just block on, you know. If I was this person, I'd want to get in the car here. Yeah. You don't want to be just like in a bush while Iron Man gloves are shooting down on you. Looks like they're going to go for the pickaxe, but this would be perfect. Okay, so if you're driving this car and the Iron Man user gets in, you just get out and beam them with your AR, right? And if they try to do the same to you, the Iron Man gloves shooting like at somebody sitting in a car isn't the biggest deal. But like I would really want to car fight this person. And like the other person knows for certain that they're using the Iron Man gloves at this point, you know? One less shockwave. They have 3 left. That's another thing about like that Michael Myers potentially resetting the fight. It's like if you get them to waste their shockwaves, then they have less like reset potential later on. That can maybe be good. But the Michael Myers is the only person that has fought back so far. Everyone else just runs, but they don't have like what they need to actually run, and so they just like slowly lose to the Iron Man. I think if that person got in the car and then decided we're like kind of car fighting this rather than I'm just going to get in the car and drive away until it blows up, then maybe something happens. And I feel like that's kind of the disconnect between like when I say that using cars is a good counter versus it, and I get comments of people telling me it's not, is like playing for the car fight in a way somewhat makes the Iron Man item less relevant. But if you just drive until they destroy the car, then like, yeah, it's like eventually it's going to go not your way. 2 opponents remaining. One's in front of him here. He is making himself somewhat easy target to the third party, but the other person may or may not be real. And I feel like they probably kind of think that at this point as well because they've been just running around constantly. They're going to back up. Don't know where that person went. I thought they were just kind of like on this terrain, but I guess not. They might get a scan soon. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't paying attention to their scans. They seem pretty certain he's still there, though. So they might have got him on scan. Usually, the scan doesn't really show on spectator. It's unfortunate. This is going to be a kill. They have shockwaves to break line of sight, maybe. Or, like, break out of lock on range. But they, unfortunately, don't go far enough. And then it's over. And once again, no damage was taken by the Jules. And so this is likely the Jules winning the game at this point. The fact that there's been so many fights on this side of zone and it's been the medallion player fighting on that side of zone and they haven't gotten third-partied makes me think this final player is either an AI or someone who's very scared. And like either way, the outcome is probably going to be the same because we've seen what happens when people who are very scared fight the setup. They just slowly lose and nothing happens to the person using it. They maybe get a scan soon, and it should scan most of zone. It's also possible if they're an AI, they just lose to zone. That'll happen somewhat frequently. We will see, though. Maybe they're in the tree. Maybe they're in that bush. He might have just seen them or something. Oh, I think they're up on this hill. Behind the rock over there. Yep. GG's. It's over. I just tell by how this person's shooting, they will lose to Jules here. Oh, no. They're trying to fizz shock away, I think, but it's just not going to work. Oh, they have Iron Man gloves of their own. It's over, though. Yep. They maybe could have just used their Witch's Broom to get out of there, but, like, it's GG's. I also don't think the Witch's Broom is the best for escaping the Iron Man. I don't know if it, like, gets you out of their lock-on range easily enough, and they can kind of just, like, follow you with the jetpack, keep pace with you a bit, and just keep beaming you. But that is going to be it for this video, as I kind of, like, said and talked about. The meta is still very much the same, despite several changes to the loot pool, and that's kind of unfortunate, but it is how it is. I believe there's 20 days left in the season as of the time I'm posting this, so we are, you know, soon going to be free from the Iron Man. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. If you did enjoy it, remember to give it a like, sub if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.